My team recently started working with a brand that had been doing $120,000 in monthly revenue. But by the time they found us at HOSHINO Media, their revenue had shrunk to about $40,000 to $50,000 a month. And as we started working with them, I found that what they were doing wrong is true of almost every single brand that is selling online. So in this video, I'll break down the 5 things that they were doing wrong that we fixed and helped them scale. And in doing so, it'll help you at home do the same exact thing. So for context, they had been doing $120,000 a month selling premium products at about an $800 to $900 average price points. Their main revenue stream was paid ads, mostly Meta, but over the course of the year, with changes like the Andromeda update or changing buyer behavior, they saw their revenue shrink over time. And what we found was that they didn't actually have supporting revenue architecture in place. So as ad costs crept up, which they have been doing over the last year, their costs skyrocketed. They started to make much less. Which brings us to our first problem, which is they had poor organic presence. Now, this brand was a problem solution based product, which means they were designed to solve a specific problem. And this is often easier to sell than a aesthetic-based product in which you have to differentiate based on your creativity, your designs, or just your product. But their social media didn't reflect that. It didn't have any of the problem they were actually trying to solve. They had limited amounts of content. Some of it was done with AI and slides that weren't relevant to their business. They had very little content that showed their product. And that worked for them 2 years ago, but in our current environment, brands who do not post will not win. And on Instagram, when someone sees an ad, the first thing they do is click into your profile. And so your social media has become the new website. And just like in the past, where if I clicked on your website and I didn't see anything, I would leave, the same is true for your social media. Now, content is a very hard skill to master, and I'm not saying that you need to go viral with your content. I don't think that's the best way to build brand equity, and it's not needed in most cases. But it's about posting problem solutions or aesthetic usages of your product to show people. So for you at home, organic is no longer an option because it's validation of your product. So because they weren't running organic, the main way they were getting customers was through paid ads. Now this is great because ads work around the clock. They bring in new customers that you would have never seen just by posting organically. And it's a great way to scale reliably, where if I put a certain amount of money in, I will make a certain amount of profit. But without a strong creative and strategic ad setup, they were burning a large portion of money that they were spending on ads. So fundamentally, they had a poor ad setup and were wasting ad spend. This brand had split their budget between multiple ad platforms, and then within each ad platform, like 5 to 6 campaigns, and their ad images and creatives were not performing well. They had done what was best practices back in 2024, which was based on interests and lookalike audiences and targeting, but all that is now wiped out with the Andromeda update. Instead of fragmented bunch of different campaigns, what they should have done is really consolidated it all into one main campaign. And that one campaign needs to have very specific problem-based angles of creatives. So that's their images and videos that they use to market. So I talk a lot about ads on this channel. If you're interested, you can click the link to video. But for our purposes today, just know they were not set up very well. Now their ads were directing people to a page that was also poorly set up. Now there are 3 goals that you're trying to achieve with your website, and that is speed, proof, and usage. If your site is slow, there is no coming back. For every second you make someone wait, your conversion rate drops about 10% because the modern buyer does not want to wait for pages to render. If your site lacks proof, people aren't going to trust you, and people don't buy things from people they don't trust. The more trust, reviews, videos, comments you have on the page, the more likely a user is to trust you and therefore to buy from you. Finally, usability is super important. I see so many pages where they have a white background and pink text and the contrast is non-existent, you can't read it, or they design for mobile and neglect desktop, or vice versa. And I just want to note, to build a 6 or even 7-figure brand, we are not going for perfect. This does not have to be a 10 out of 10 across the board. You just have to be good enough in these 3 categories. Which brings us to our 4th point, customer reviews and replies. Now this brand had a relatively long fulfillment time, so about 3 to 4 weeks, and people would flood into their social media or into their Trustpilot asking where their product was. Now, having a long fulfillment time is not a problem. It's perfectly okay, but you have to communicate it to customers, because a 4-week shipping time is not a conversion killer, but radio silence is. So customers customers should immediately get an email when they place their order, letting them know expectations for how long it's going to take. And you need to be giving people 1 email a week on updates to their order at minimum, and that just increases the longer you make them wait. And this is a great marketing tool as well. It doesn't have to just be order updates. You can be building hype along the way where you tell people about the problem you solve, or how great your thing is, or how you built it, or how much it will address their pain points. You are turning what is potentially a refund liability into a marketing tool. So fixing their post-purchase communication saved their reputation, but they still had no revenue architecture on their back end. Most brands completely skip email or SMS in their marketing, and it boggles my mind every time. Email and SMS and other backend tools, when done successfully and tastefully, should be at least 30% of your total revenue. So this brand had a great opt-in for signing up to their backend. They had a giveaway and a $1 off discount, but they drastically underutilized and under-designed their emails. There was a trust issue, sure, but there were other things where they wouldn't remarket to customers in ways that made sense, or when people were checking out the pages. And why are we doing all this? It's to bring our customers back. If your customer return rate is below 40%, this is something you need to address. With the cost to send an email or an SMS being a fraction of a penny, there is no reason not to send these things, because you are bumping up your revenue by about 30% for essentially zero cost. So for those of you at home, you should be thinking about, how do I bring customers back and what makes sense? How do you get people to buy into your brand? Is it a new product launch? Is it a blowout sale you're running? Is it your craftsmanship? Is it your personal story as a founder? It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to make sense. You really need to think about how you make your audience care. So in addressing these 5 core issues, we have positioned this brand to reclaim their 120K run rate and also to scale beyond that. Now, if any of these 5 problems sound familiar, or if your brand's revenue is stuck and you don't know why, you can click the link in the description and we will do an audit on your brand for free. See you in the next video. Peace.